Welcome to Bible Stories for Kids TV, where God's words comes alive.
Time ago, the Israelites were at war with the Philistines.
Each army stood on a different hill with a big valley in between.
From the Philistine camp came a giant warrior, Goliath. He was over 9 feet tall. That's taller than 2 grown-ups stacked on top of each other. He wore a bronze helmet and a heavy metal coat made of scales. It weighed more than 125 pounds. He had bronze leg guards and a huge spear that looked like a tree trunk. Just the tip of the spear was heavy like a bowling ball. And he had a sword on his side, and a helper who walked ahead of him, carrying a giant round shield. Goliath shouted, "Send one man to fight me! If he wins, we will be your servants. But if I win, you will be ours." The Israelites were terrified. No one wanted to face the giant. Fear tries to stop us, but God calls us to stand in courage.
Far from the battlefield, there was a young shepherd boy named David. He was the youngest of 8 brothers.
One day, his father Jesse said, "Take this bread and cheese to your brothers at the battlefield. See how they are doing." David ran quickly to the front lines, just as Goliath stepped out again and shouted his challenge. David looked around. "Why is everyone afraid?" he asked. His oldest brother snapped, "Why are you here, David? Go back to your sheep." But David didn't argue. He asked, "Who is this giant who dares to mock the armies of the living God?" Even when others doubt us, God sees our faith. David was brought before King Saul. "Don't be afraid," David said. "I'll fight the giant." Saul said, "But you're just a boy. He has been a warrior since he was young." David answered, "I take care of my father's sheep. When a lion or bear comes to steal a lamb, I chase it. God protected me from the lion and bear, and he will protect me from this giant too." Saul nodded slowly. "All right, go, and may the Lord be with you." Then Saul placed his own armor on David. A big bronze helmet on his head, a heavy coat of armor on his chest, a long sword by his side. David tried walking. Wobble, wobble. He shook his head. "I can't wear these. I'm not used to them." So David took them off. You don't need someone else's armor. Just trust what God has given you. David picked up his sling and walked to the stream. He looked into the water and chose 5 smooth stones. He put them in his pouch and stepped into the valley. Across from him, Goliath saw David coming. "Am I a dog," Goliath roared, "that you come at me with sticks?" David stood tall and shouted, "You come at me with sword and spear, but I come against you in the name of the Lord." Our strength isn't in weapons, it's in God. Goliath marched closer. David ran toward him. He reached into his pouch, took out a stone, and placed it in his sling. Whoa! David swung it round and round. Whoosh! The stone flew through the air and struck Goliath right in the forehead. Thud! The giant fell to the ground with a crash. When we step forward in faith, God does the impossible. David ran up to the fallen warrior. He took Goliath's own sword and cut off his head. When the Philistines saw that their champion was dead, they turned and ran. The Israelites shouted in victory and chased them far away. Evil may look big, but God's power is always greater. King Saul asked, "Who is this brave boy?" David stood tall, holding Goliath's sword. "I am David, son of Jesse from Bethlehem." And from that day on, David became known as a mighty warrior who loved God with all his heart. God can use anyone, even a shepherd boy, to do great things. Let's remember what happened in this amazing story. The Israelites were afraid of the giant named Goliath. But David, a young shepherd, trusted God and wasn't afraid. His brothers didn't believe in him, and even the king wasn't sure. But David remembered how God helped him fight lions and bears while protecting his sheep. He didn't need fancy armor, just 5 smooth stones and his sling. David ran into the valley with courage and faith. With just 1 stone, the giant Goliath fell. And through David, God gave the Israelites victory. David showed us that when we trust God, no matter our size, age, or strength, we can face anything. David didn't win because he was the strongest. He won because he believed in the one who is the strongest. He didn't copy anyone else. He didn't try to be someone else. He just used what God gave him, a sling, some stones, and a big faith. And you know what? God can use you too. He made you brave. He made you special. He made you for a purpose. So when you're scared, when you feel small, remember David. And remember, God is with you. Even kids can do big things when they walk with a big God. And now it's time for our verse of the day. Let's remember the powerful words that helped David stand strong, even against a giant. Thanks for watching, friends. If you loved this story, like and share it, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories from the Bible. See you next time on Bible Stories for Kids TV.